Military spouses and family members hope they never receive notification that their service member has been wounded, but they always know that call might come. Once you receive the call, be aware of the life-changing events that are about to unfold as you prepare to travel to be with your wounded warrior. Although notification may vary depending on the military branch and installation involved, you can expect to receive information about your service member's condition and your travel plans. The military identifies injuries as serious or very serious. When a service member experiences a serious injury or a very serious injury, the Rear Detachment Unit calls the service member's designated point of contact for medical emergencies, as indicated on the DD-93 form. This point of contact is usually a spouse, parent, or other family member. The Rear Detachment Unit informs the point of contact about the service member's current medical condition and the status of the evacuation process. The Rear Detachment Unit will, however, have only minimal medical information. If your service member is in the Army, the Department of the Army Wounded in Action Branch determines which family members will be offered government-paid travel. The branch representative then coordinates plans with those family members, usually up to 3, to travel to the medical treatment facility where the wounded warrior will be sent. The Department of the Army Wounded in Action Branch prepares travel and transportation orders and coordinates flight arrangements, lodging, and transportation from the airport to the medical treatment facility. Depending on your wounded warrior's medical status, children may not be allowed in the room or in intensive care units. Childcare is limited, and minor children are covered by travel and transportation orders for only 5 days, after which the cost becomes the family's responsibility. For more information on travel and transportation orders, contact the Department of the Army Wounded in Action Branch at 1-888-331-9369. Whenever people travel, they have much to consider and remember, but when you're traveling because your service member is wounded, you have a whole set of additional concerns. Knowing the answers to certain questions may help you cope with overwhelming feelings as you try to get to your wounded warrior's bedside as quickly as possible. The following information will help you know what to do before you leave and what to expect when you arrive. What can you do to prepare for the emotional impact of the hospital setting? Recognize that your wounded warrior may be disfigured. Realize that depending on his or her injury, you may be unable to have physical contact with your wounded warrior. Prepare for the possibility that your service member may be connected to and surrounded by machines. Plan to create positive, relaxing energy between you and your wounded warrior. Seek support and assistance from family and friends. Develop coping strategies to manage sadness, sorrow, and anxiety. Keep in mind that hospital settings vary depending on your service member's injuries. What financial instruments should you take so you will have money for travel? Major credit cards. Make a copy of the front and back of all major credit cards in case of loss. Cash or traveler's checks, and a checkbook and account number and bank routing number. What documentation do you need to take? When considering the financial aspect of your travel arrangements, include copies of your travel and transportation orders, which you should keep with you at all times, military ID or government-issued ID, such as your driver's license, powers of attorney form, if your service member has provided one, immunization records and other medical records, if available, for children who will travel with you and may need child care. Name and phone number of a point of contact for the Wounded Warriors Unit. The Department of the Army Wounded in Action Branch will be able to tell you what the unit is if you do not know. A valid passport if traveling outside the United States. What household preparations do you need to make? Before you leave, consider these household preparations. Coordinate time off from work, contact military housing, arrange for someone to pick up and forward necessary mail, schedule bill payments. Consider changing cell phone plans to include extra minutes or unlimited long distance for the travel period. Arrange for pet care. Inform family and friends of travel plans and leave a spare key so someone can access the house if needed. Empty the refrigerator of perishable goods and empty all trash cans. Set the thermostat to energy-saving level. Arrange for lawn care if necessary. If you plan to travel with a child, remember the following necessities: clothing, shoes and outerwear, diapers, wipes, and diaper ointment, immunization records if the child may need child care, a car seat or stroller, medications and a thermometer, bottles, sippy cups and formula, toothbrush, toothpaste, and any special bath items, toys and activities. What arrangements do you need to make for a child who will not travel with you? Arrange for a temporary child care provider. Set up transportation to and from school. Call the TRICARE Health Program if you're moving the child out of the normal TRICARE region. Ensure that the temporary child care provider has the TRICARE information card or any medical insurance information, as well as instructions for initiating medical appointments for the child. Tell the school and activity coordinators who the temporary child care provider will be. Obtain a gate pass for the temporary child care provider if you live on post. Coordinate financial support for the child's necessities. Ensure that the temporary child care provider has a list of the child's scheduled activities. Give the temporary child care provider a list of the child's allergies, medications, and routines. Also, give the temporary child care provider your contact information, as well as the contact information of another support person in the area. With everything you have to do and remember during this time, don't forget to pack for yourself. Be sure to pack glasses, contact lenses, and associated supplies, prescription medication for up to 30 days, plus refill information, toiletries, comfortable clothing, a light sweater or jacket for hospital use, a cell phone and charger, appropriate outerwear, and an umbrella depending on the weather, contact information for key family members, friends, creditors, employers, and schools, hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes. Every situation is different. Remember, depending on your military branch and installation, the Casualty Assistance Center may offer training for civilians that covers casualty notification procedures. Contact your military installation's Family Readiness Group for more information. Also, it is important to recognize that procedures for notification may vary. If your service member is in the Army, call the Department of the Army Wounded in Action Branch at 1-888-331-9369 for more information concerning your wounded warrior and travel arrangements.